So as you talk about some of these dictators, right, whether it's in India or in other places throughout the world, how do you think that's going to impact folks here on the ground in terms of supply chains or things like that? As you think about some of the markets that each of these countries,
it's already impacting, because look, the Houthis in Yemen have practically closed down the Suez Canal. So now we're losing in Egypt half of our income of the Suez Canal, which is around $4 or $5 billion of loss. Plus the cost of the freight costs have gone up 20% and 25%. Insurance costs the same way. So by the time you get your products here, they will be so much more expensive. They might not be any more competitive. Which means you should go back to trying to manufacture everything in your own country, so you don't have to worry about these logistics. It's going to impact the big time. And even now, when you boycott Russia, you can't even boycott the wheat, because and you can't even boycott the fuel, and you cannot. So at the end, you say boycott, but there's no boycott there.
Let me switch gears to another topic. As people look at what your holdings have been over the course of history, today as we sit here, what would you say is the best asset you hold in your portfolio?
Gold.
I had a feeling you were going to say that.
I said this around 8-9 years ago, that the gold price will topple $2,000 and will go higher, than that. I said even 3,000. So, and it was not just a gamble, or a bet, because being in the business of gold mining, what I found out is that it takes 7 years from the day you start looking for gold to the day you produce gold, okay, to commercial production. 7 years. So imagine, in a way, there wasn't enough mines coming to production as much as the demand. So that's the first factor. And that I could see from my business. Second factor is this geopolitical tensions. The two largest buyers of gold are Russia and China. 50% of the gold bought worldwide is bought by these two nations. And why? Because they're preparing for war against the West. So they don't want to have, they want to have the global currency. So gold is a global currency. That's the second reason. So I saw that very early, and I put half of my net worth into that.
And as we said before, you are one of the largest owners, individual owners in gold in the world today. Let's go back to something you mentioned a bit ago, as you were talking about how you and your brothers have separated the business, and it goes back to your father. And my father would agree with you. He split my brother and I up as well in terms of our businesses as well. My brother's a lawyer, but he does business law, and I'm a litigator. So very different worlds.
I'm sure he's doing better than you.
He's doing better than me. He is. But, truth be told, he's been doing better than me for a long time. But as you think about what your brothers are doing and what you're doing, is there a diversification strategy? Is that the Sawiris diversification strategy?
No, it was historically, my youngest brother studied in Chicago University, so he came with an American mind. I had started the construction business after my dad. My dad started it, and I took it over for a short period. And then my youngest brother came and said, I like that business. I was fine, you do that. I moved to IT, and I built the railways business. We built a lot of the railways in Egypt. And Samih, my middle brother, he was always more of a visionary and more relaxed. His theme in life is not about work and money and that. I should enjoy the life. So he was the least working person in the family, and he admits it, in a way. And he started to go on boats and do marine sales. And then he liked the fishing, and he went to Guna, and started El Guna, which is really where we feel living in Egypt. Guna is a blessing, because we can go every weekend there in the winter. We can all the Christmas, Easter, we spend the vacations there, and you don't feel you're in Egypt. You are in a very like a paradise. Everything is clean, everything works. people all are happy, security, everything. And my dad used to say, because me and my youngest brother, we always were teasing the middle brother because he wasn't producing as much, you know. So my dad used to say, if Samih, your brother, didn't do anything in his life except Guna, that's enough. So, but the diversity was not intentional. It came by virtue of each one's choice of business. Yeah.
Thinking a bit about the businesses that you have had, right? Over the course of your career, you and the family, including your brothers, have developed a very strong reputation for being trustworthy. And as you think about that, what strikes me is, how does somebody earn Naguib Sawiris' trust? Trust. How do they earn your trust? How do people earn your trust?
Look, it might be, first, my character is like that. I trust people until proven otherwise. I don't like starting by mistrust. My wife was the opposite. She mistrusts first, trusts later, and she was right. I mean, she's right sometimes, you know, with her judgment of people. But me, I don't want to waste time mistrusting people. So I say, okay, if he loses my confidence or my trust, he's the loser, not me. I can substitute anyone anytime, but he won't find someone like me. So that's the way I go about it, you know. But you can do it either way, but I prefer my way, because I'm not going to get everybody comes and looking like that. I know my wife, where she got that from her mother, was that when I went to propose, her mother looked at me as if I'm coming to steal something from the house. But I know that feeling, you know, when I see my daughters, I know that when a guy is coming to get married, I'm going to punch him in the face first.
As a father of 3 daughters, I feel the same way.
Yeah.
So, you know, let's talk a little
bit. Any eligible bachelors here, Christian? I have the most beautiful 3 daughters that anybody can have.
They are. They're wonderful. Now, so many people, and I've been witness to this on occasion, want your investment advice. They want your investment dollars, right? We've talked a bit about this. And people are constantly pitching you for new business ideas. So here's my question about this. And I think this is a question that somebody asked me to ask you, right? And I see this happen with a lot of my clients. How do you deal with the constant environment of people soliciting you for investments around the world? How do you deal with it?
No, you see, I'm in a good position now because I'm really not interested to invest in anything new. I'm 70 years old now, starting to feel tired. And whether I like it or not, my body will force me to slow down the pace. And if I told you in my last 72 hours here, you will really thank me more for coming. So I was in New York. I flew to Brazil for 1 day, no nights, overnight. Worked the whole day, flew overnight to Grenada in the Caribbean, and came here this morning from Grenada. So all the 72 hours. I think I've been in 72 hours. I've been at least 15 hours on the plane in these 72 hours. So I start to feel like, no, enough is enough. And it's good to think like that. And that's why I'm not interested in any more new investments or anything. I don't have the energy anymore. And I'm in a good position because I have 2 big investments in real estate and gold mining. And I don't want to overwhelm myself even more. I'd rather go to see a nice movie at night and relax than have I always crack the joke that I tell someone, if he tells me that there's a big meeting with a sheikh from the Gulf, and if you come, I'll give you $10 million just for coming to the meeting, and there is a nice party downtown somewhere at a friend's house, I'll go to the party and skip the $10 million. So I'm really, I need, because it's not good to work all your life and then find out you haven't enjoyed your life. I've enjoyed my life, but I prefer now to relax, to go more for vacations, and work less, And I've managed now to reduce my working hours from the old 16 hours to 8, and now I'm trying to be down to 5, 6 a day, so it's okay.
That's good. So think about a time when you were investing and you were considering pitches. And any number of people would come to you and they would pitch you on a business idea. what would you say would be one of the, if you remember a specific instance, it's fine, but what would you say would be one of the most persuasive factors that led you to want to invest?
No, whenever something is going to be good for humanity, or is going to help the sick, or is going to improve life quality. Sometimes I invest in, like when I went to Grenada, was a purely, they will not believe me, but it was a purely human decision. It was not a materialist, because very beautiful island, and the Prime Minister, and it was during the Muslim Brotherhood's area in Egypt. So I was more bullish to invest outside than in Egypt. So the Prime Minister came to me, and I looked, the people, I went there for a vacation through a friend who dragged me there. I found out the people to be very, very sweet, kind, hospitable, innocent, but very well educated, and they have a philosophy, you know, in their way, and they're a bit relaxed, like the Caribbean, you know. But so I fell in love with the people. So the Prime Minister told me, can you please, we need more hotels here, because so I had been in the island, and I stayed in a hotel, and I got hotel shoppe. That's was the 5-star hotel, yani, but you do the shower like that, it comes in your hand. He had a jacuzzi, swallowed half of the bathroom, so you had to go around the jacuzzi to go to wash your hands. And you slept in a bed which was 1.5 meters above the floor, so if you fell down, you break it. And this was the 5-star, so I told him, you don't need more hotels. You need a decent hotel to attract the jet setters and the opinion makers to come to discover your country, because they will never agree to come here and stay in these shitty hotels, you know. And then I promised him that I'm going to build him the best hotel in the Caribbean. So people would want to come to your island because of my hotel, you know. Okay, we get rid of the Muslim Brothers 2013. The Prime Minister thinks, okay, I'm never going to see Naguib again, because he's back to Egypt working there. 3 years later, he had to come to open the hotel, you know. And it was a big day, and he said that in his speech. He said, you know, I thought we will never see Naguib again. Here you are with this gorgeous hotel, and I built them a hotel. It cost like maybe $150 million, the hotel. I mean, 100 rooms, so per room maybe $1 million per room, you know. And it's become it won the prize of the best hotel in the Caribbean 3 times, and now the island is getting recognized because of the hotel. So I feel I made good for 120,000 people, which are the local people there, because, you know, you are motivating the economy, people will find jobs. It gets, and I built the second hotel now, and I'm building the third. So I invest also sometimes by my heart, not just with the mind, you know. Also, I think God appreciates that, and He is always giving back to me. I mean, I just remember the joke by a priest. So one priest, usually I don't like to donate too much money for churches. I prefer to donate money for hospitals and schools. But this priest came, and he had the name of the church was one of my guardian angels. I'm getting old, see? Abu Sufyan. So it's my guardian angel. So he comes with the church named Abu Sufyan, so I break the rule about not donating. So I start writing him a check for the church, and then he takes the check and says, oh, my son, Naguib, this is really a lot. This is really too much, it's a lot. So I told him, Abuna, you know, how much interest would I get if I put the money in the bank? He told me, 10%. I said, okay, how much would I get if I put it with God? No, wait, the fun part is coming now. So this priest who had a sense of humor told me, see, even in this you are a businessman.
Good for you. That's
yeah. You know, it's, when people think, when people tell me you're a brave person, you say your opinion and you are succeeding, I always laugh, because I tell them it's not that, it's my faith. See? Because when you have, you know what is faith about? If you have faith in God, God will be always on your side, and then so who can be against you? He will always be. And I have one evidence after the other that God loves me, you know, because there were battles. Mathematically, I should lose. Like the battle against the Muslim Brotherhood. Mathematically, I should lose, because I was doing this on my own when I fought them. No other businessman in Egypt, Muslim or Christian, decided to risk his. That's why Jesus said, "Rich, it's difficult to get to heaven like a camel through the needle," because people who make the money, they become slaves of the money. Instead of making the money work for them, they work for the money, so they become slaves. So they're scared to do the right thing in order, because the money is making them cowards. But when you have the faith, like in my case, I was sure. I was, like I said, God will not let me down, I'll do this fight with whatever. Because it was also a fight of existence. Many Christians and Copts did not understand that this time of the Muslim Brotherhood, there was a risk of, you would have found most of the Copts back here in America trying to flee and trying to come back here. And I love living in Egypt. I don't want to go anywhere else.
So, having just relived that time period, and now that we're past it, we see Egypt actually better off than it was perhaps under the Muslim Brotherhood, right? Let me ask this question. What's keeping you awake at night? What are you worried about?
No, I only worry about my kids always, I have my phone opened all night. I'm just worried about my kids. And I only pray to God to take care of my kids, So I'm not worried from anything, Even Egypt, if it bellies up or some other revolution comes in or this, I don't worry, because I've lived through all this many times, But I wish Egypt would not be in the situation it is now, economically, even from a political system, the way it's managed and all that. I'm not happy with this, with that. And it's not a secret. I'm not going to go to jail because I'm saying that, because I said it 100 times before and nothing happened. So,
let's hope the 101st time doesn't change.
When I was summoned one time to these people, and they were asking me something, and I told them, okay, before I answer you, I have to tell you that I have a wish in my CV that there's an empty block that has not been filled yet, and it's called a freedom fighter or a free opinion minder, So, صاحب رأي, when this is the accusation, they put people in jail now, So I told him, before I answer your question, so you don't think I'm scared from you, it's the only thing I'm missing in my CV, to be a jail because of my opinions. I told him that frankly, it's like number 2 maybe in the country. And then I answered him, because I was worried that he'd think I'm a bit scared to tell him the truth. It was a question of, I invited,
Maybe we'll come back to that. Let me ask this question then. In terms of your risk tolerance, how has your risk tolerance in business evolved over the years? Taking into stock, for example, all the challenging environments you've done business in, right? Whether it was Yemen, whether it was Iraq, whether it was Pakistan. Has your risk tolerance changed?
No, not at all, because it worked. I went to places where the big guys, when I started in telecom, would not go. Would go to Pakistan, Algeria, when they were slaughtering people, Pakistan, the bombs and all the fundamentalism and all. So people would not go there. But I went there because I know I won't have this competitive, the big guys. See, I had no choice, And the ex-US ambassador of Egypt, he cracked a joke one time. He told me, Naguib, I want to understand something. Why every time we catch a terrorist, he has one of your phones. So he knows, because I'm Christian, I'm definitely not pro-terrorism. I told him, it's just, I work in terrorist land, I work in all these countries, I didn't choose them, but I'm there. Afghanistan, Pakistan, Algeria, Libya, Egypt, and Syria, and so on, right?
So,
no, I mean, no risk, no gain. What helped me again, my risk appetite, is based on my faith again. I believe always God will be always with me. And I'm not stupid, so I calculate the risk. But when you know God is with you, you take the risk much easier. See? Even in fights. I won a fight when 10 people are in front of me and I'm alone. How can I win a fight like that? It's easy. I tell God, we have to win this. Can you please come along? And he comes. And I won many wars which would logically, with any logic, not be won. And even my brothers, when we had the Muslim brothers in Egypt, we didn't talk to each other for 18 months, because they were very annoyed at my position against the Muslim Brotherhood. It will cause harm to the family's interests and so on. So I told them, to pay you each one a check for whatever damage is happening, but I'm not going to stop what I'm doing, because for me it was an existence fight. Because, you remember the president, Mursi, what he said? He said, well, Canada and America's door are open for whoever is not happy here. So I answered him, I said, this is our country, we're going nowhere. Because I love teasing people. I'm a bit naughty, So he was sitting next to me, and this Morsi guy, before he became president, just the chair next to me, because the head of intelligence, God bless his soul, Omar Suleiman, put him next to me, like putting fire and benzene next to him, for obvious reasons. So I don't speak to him, but I'm polite. So he starts speaking to me, telling me, Mr. Sawiris, when are you going to accept us? I told him, accept you? No, I want to join your party. You see, you laughed. I don't like to name a bad name for someone who passed away, but he was a real idiot, He didn't laugh, and he looked at me and told me, well, you can be muntasib, what? Not a real member, but again, affiliated member. Again, the typical, that a Christian, you can be a second-class citizen. If I took him by the hand, like that, I told him, what party do you want me to join if you don't even understand the joke, And by the way, I want to tell you something that if you read to understand. I am a real Egyptian. We are the real Egyptians. So we would never, this is my country. And as long as, if you want to take over this country, find someone to put a bullet here. Otherwise, as long as I'm breathing, you won't take over this country. Because he provoked me. You understand by saying, yeah, you can be an affiliate member.
I almost want to end this interview on this, but I think I've got time for a couple more questions. And Evie, you'll give me the high sign when we're running out of time here. I don't know how to follow that, actually. But I'm going to try. So let me ask, let me switch gears if we can for a minute. There's so much that's happening in the world of technology today. How many people in this room today use generative AI right now? ChatGPT or anything else for that matter? Okay. So by the show of hands, you can see that it's pretty widespread. It's pretty much in use. How do you think AI is going to change business?
The worst thing about AI is you think that all these people who move their hands, but these are good people, okay? Let's say we were in a mafia room with all the mafiosos of the world, and we asked them who's using AI, and they all take their hands up. It should put us into worry, because maybe it took them 2 weeks to plan a robbery in a bank, and now they have to how you rob a bank. Okay, how to make a bomb. I'm sure, I never tried it, but how to make a bomb gives you a description of how to make a bomb. So the biggest danger I see in this AI, unless really regulated and fast, it could fall into the wrong hands, and it's like for me as a spoiled traveler, I always wonder why do they make these rockets. I met the owner of Virgin, Richard Branson. So he wanted me to invest $500 million in a rocket that will go to Mars. I told him, why don't you just make a plane that will take me from Cairo to New York in 1 hour? I'm ready to. I don't want to go to Mars, but I'm ready to put 500 million. If you can build a plane that takes me from Cairo to New York in 1 hour, then I can go see my 3 daughters every weekend, Makes more sense than this crazy stuff, that they're spending hundreds of billions to go to Mars and there's nobody there. So AI is going to change a lot of things, but I will tell you the negatives because I'm a bit skeptic. First, I used to be able to multiply.
The negatives and the benefits. Do
Yeah.
you see any benefits?
I'll tell you the benefits, but
Okay.
I'll tell you the negative because I used to be able to multiply 3 figures by 3 figures and get you the solution without writing down. Then they invented the calculator. So what happened? People stopped to think and started to use the calculator for everything. And people become so reliant on devices that they lose a lot of human talent, And this ChatGPT is like that, you can just go, even lawyers will go out of job now, like you. You can write, okay, let's say there's a real estate lawyer, you don't need him, you can write, give me a real estate contract according to the laws of state of New York. You have to contract. Why go to a lawyer? Save $2,000. Yeah. So it's going to have an impact. You can call it positive, and you can call it that people will be out of a job, even lawyers like yourself. So I'm still not clear about it. I think the benefits are more than the negatives, but the negatives can be very dangerous.
Some of the benefits, you think? Efficiency in business, you think?
Yeah, it saves you a lot of time, but again, I will miss, I read a newspaper till now. I don't like reading off the laptop or my phone or like that. I still buy the paper. There's some things in life, they are nostalgic and we like them the way it used to be, so I don't know.
I used to have to go fetch the paper for my father all the time. I remember this vividly. And what papers do you read, since you've mentioned?
I read the Financial Times, foreign papers. I read Financial Times. I read El Ahram to know what bullshit they're writing. And I read El Masri Yom, which I was the founder of this, because I founded this newspaper with some other friends, because it's less bullshit. But right now in Egypt, there is only bullshit newspapers. But I read books.